Today we're going to talk about goldfish ponds, and then we're going to discuss why the koi get all the glory. So I got a question on Twitter, and I'm going to play a little catch up on Twitter because I went through Twitter and I was watching it all the time, and I wasn't seeing the comments of Ask the Pond Digger come up, and I found like this slew of them. So I'm trying to play a little bit of catch up there. I got a question from VitFam. And he wants to know, we talk a lot about about koi ponds, but we don't talk about goldfish so much. He wants to know why, and he wants to know what's my best or my favorite goldfish for a pond. And this is a fun question because my producer and I, we've been talking a lot about goldfish, and he said, how can we talk about goldfish all the time? So you're not the only person that's asked this. My producers actually asked me that as well. So it's a really good question. I'll tell you, I love goldfish. Those of you who know me, I go back. I started in fish, and that's why I build ponds. And goldfish are really special to me. I'm going to tell you a story about this real quick first, because this is kind of it's a funny story to me, but it's still a sad story at the same time. Back when I had hair, I went to this hairdresser all the time. I forgot his name. I wish I could remember it right now. I'd look him up on Facebook because it was a long time ago. Anyways, we used to talk about fish when I would go in there, and he had this goldfish. It was a big goldfish. I mean, it was probably 6 inches, and he had this really large goldfish bowl. Not an aquarium, not with filters and all this stuff. Good old-fashioned goldfish bowl, little gravel in the bottom. Feed it a little bit every day. This giant goldfish in a steel. And we talked about it all the time, and it always amazed me because he was so dedicated to his goldfish. He would do water changes on it every week, and he would put the fish in a bowl. I mean, if you're into fish, you know what I'm talking about. Put the fish in another bowl, clean the water, put the fresh new water in, put the dechlor in, put the goldfish back. I mean, this was always amazing to me. And one day I remember talking to him, and I went in to get my hair cut, talked about goldfish, and he started to tear a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Well, his sister had killed his goldfish while he was away on vacation. And it's a tough story, but it's a really cute, unique story at the same time because he had that fish in a bowl for 8 years. Talk about dedication. The guy would move. He would every week change this goldfish bowl, and that's a testimony to dedication of people being into fish, and it's a testimony to give the fish good water quality, and they will do good under all kinds of conditions. So I'm a big fan of goldfish, and I have strong memories about that. I'll tell you, today when I'm building ponds, if it's too small of a pond, everyone wants koi. And they get the glory because they get huge. They have all these legends about, swimming up and turning into dragons as they swim up waterfalls. I mean, the legends are there about koi, and I think that's why people are drawn to them. Most people are getting these great tattoos of these beautiful koi fish, and they're not doing it of goldfish, you see? So when I'm building a smaller pond, people want to have koi in there, and I tell them, hey, this is kind of a small pond. Koi can get up to 3 feet. They get really big. They put a lot of waste. That's a lot of maintenance. Why don't we consider using some smaller goldfish in the pond? It'd still be a wonderful pond. Goldfish are amazing. And so I go through that quite a bit. I'll tell you, most of the time when I'm consulting with someone in a smaller pond, I usually tell them to get into shabunkins. Shabunkins are pretty hardy as far as goldfish go in an outdoor environment, much different than, say, a blackmore. Blackmores have that big round body, almost like a baseball with fins on the end, and they swim slow, and they're a little awkward outside, and so that's harder for them to evade predators, okay? So that's usually why I'm consulting with people to lean on shabunkins. They get long, fancy, beautiful fins. Oftentimes you can find them in calico colors, so you're getting black, red, and white. And I'll tell you, at our facility here out front, we have goldfish and koi mixed in our front ponds, smaller stuff, so we could show people the way they interact. They're smaller, So people oftentimes walk up to the pond and they assume that the goldfish are koi. So you see how that's coming together. I will usually recommend that they go with shubunkins. I'll tell you, personally, I have a pond at home. It's probably the pond I spent the most time ever with. After this time, the pond's probably 10 years old. It's only about 700 gallons. It's my personal pond. It has goldfish in it. It's about 20 feet long, and it's only like 5 feet wide, 4 feet wide. It's kind of this little serpentine pond. It's by my kitchen. And when I'm out there barbecuing, it's right there. When I'm in the kitchen doing stuff, I'm looking out at the waterfall and seeing it. And I got plants all growing around it. So it's probably my favorite pond I spent the most time with. It's a goldfish pond. I just have some different goldfish swimming around there. And I live kind of, I don't want to say rural, but I do have, possums and raccoons, and it's a small pond, so I have shubunkins and I have little simple pond goldfish in there. If I had my choice, I'll tell you I would have probably red cap orandas and regular orandas and black moors. I'd have a lot of those kind of fish, specifically only those guys in the pond, because they're a lot of fun to see swimming outdoors in a big pond like that. But I wouldn't mix them with other stuff just because, those black moors, they're hard to get to the food, and the other shubunkins are faster and more sleek. And so if you're going to do a goldfish pond, you're going to have to watch those different species about that. So I wanted to tell you those stories. This was a fun question because it brought back memories to when I used to have hair, and it brings me to the fact that I love my kitchen pond quite a bit, and it's just a goldfish pond. And I don't mean to say just a goldfish pond because I love my koi at the same time. So I'm going to get to the question of the day. I want to know how many goldfish fans we have out there. I want to know how many people have goldfish-only ponds, and I want to know how many of you are mixing koi and goldfish in the same pond. And I don't want to shut down the show without telling you, if you're on Instagram, I want you to go check out hashtag Goldfish Union. I wrote that down real quick, and I frequent this particular hashtag when I go to my Instagram page, and they have amazing pictures of all these different cool goldfish. So go visit that hashtag, check it out, and tag me in your favorite goldfish pictures that you find there on Instagram, okay? Until next time, you know who I am. I'm Eric Triplett, the Pond Digger, and I hope you dig goldfish ponds as much as I do.